Well, hello everybody, or anybody possibly. Having looked at Craig's selection of Kinks records, and I did sort of suggest that I would be putting a video reply to this. So this is my attempt at doing that, much inspired by Craig's interest. So I just wanted to let you know my life with the Kinks started back in 1964, and back then I was doing the maths in my head, about 17. I just started work, so I hadn't got hardly any money to put together, so purchasing music wasn't really an option. It was a case of recording things off the radio with reel-to-reel. Anyway, I could afford the odd single, and very few albums or LPs. When I did get those, they usually were from second-hand shops or from other sources, or even presents. I just wanted to show you first of all my collection of singles. Now these are all in their original sleeves, and this first one, the 5th of September 1964, that was when I purchased You Really Got Me. The sound was just unbelievable, and had me hooked straight away. So I actually bought this one. This is how much an influence I actually found the money to buy it. Without going into each one too much, I actually bought Tired of Waiting for You second, although that wasn't the second single, because the second single was actually All Day and All the Night. And as you may be able to see on this, it says Saturday Club on there. And when I was at college, so actually this is before I was working, when I was at college, I used to have a Saturday night club, and people used to put in 10p and vote for a top 20 song, and then the top 2 or 3 of those were actually purchased. After a while they went out of fashion, so that's when I came in and bought these second hand. So that got me back on track with All Day and All the Night. But of course, in between All Day and the Night and Tired of Waiting for You was probably their weakest single of the 60s, and that was called Everybody's Gonna Be Happy. It just about made number 14ish, I think, in the charts, prior to Tired of Waiting, which set them right back on track. A further one, Set Me Free, with I Need You on the back, which was a variation of You Really Got Me, but a little less wild, but pretty good anyway. Next, See My Friends, which was had a bit of a sound of a sitar, long before anybody else or any other artists like the Beatles actually came in and provided this sound or showed people this sound. And as Ray Davis says, he got the sound, the idea of the sound, from Asia. And there used to be fishermen sitting on poles in the sea. You may have seen them in some of these wildlife programs, or natural history, or that type of program anyway. And as they sat on the tops of these poles, they used to drone and hum, pretty much the same as the drone and the hum in See My Friends. This one obviously isn't in its correct sleeve. I don't know why. It must have been just at the time when I got it. This is back to more the All Day and All the Night style with Till the End of the Day. The more sedate Sunny Afternoon was another song that followed. Dedicated Follower of Fashion. Now, interestingly enough, I did purchase this one in London, in the Carnaby Street area. So a double impact really, dedicated follower of fashion and in the fashion area. In the 60s, I didn't actually live in London. I lived in Chelmsford, which was about half an hour's train ride from London. So I used to go down at weekends to football matches and used to troll a few shops as well. One of my favourite Kinks songs, Dead End Street. Just says there's something about it I particularly like. And then probably the classic that most people would name, even if they weren't a Kinks fan, is Waterloo Sunset. Often considered as one of the best pop songs ever. And I know last time I went down to London, I went over Waterloo Bridge, went to Waterloo Station, and just thinking about this song, as I do when I go to lots of places, not just by the Kinks, other people and other artists. When you actually go to the place and then you're in the picture, you know what the people are singing about or where the people are singing about. Then Autumn Almanac, another good one. A lot of these I've sung from time to time in the karaoke. I do have a karaoke backing tracks for most of these songs. And the last single I ever bought was Victoria. So you can see I've got a few misses there, for instance Days and Come Dancing and Don't Forget to Dance to Name But Three. But this is the last single I bought. So vinyl wise, 45s, that is my collection of singles. Because I don't have many albums, I'm just going to tag them on here. I can't remember if I actually bought this new or not. I probably did. But it was the only one album of the Kinks that I actually bought new. And the Kinks Controversy was their third album in the UK. Moving on to 67, I was going out with a girl in Lincoln. And I was working away in the northeast of England, which is 150 miles away, with the company I was just beginning and training with. At the time in Lincoln, I was going home alternate weekends, and this girl called Linda kindly bought me this for my birthday, or one of them anyway. It says, "Love and best wishes for Christmas 1966 from Linda." Unfortunately, well maybe fortunately, Linda was a nice enough girl, but it never moved on, and I probably finished with her in 1967. Which was sad, but that's another story. I have a neighbour who's very much into music, and people obviously get to know which artist you like, and he gave me this. It's a copy of Low Budget by the Kinks. I don't think I've ever played it, even though I do have a turntable. I don't often play on a turntable, although I have done, but it's probably a lot better quality than anything I have, because my albums and my singles etc. have been much used, and the evidence is there. And the only other thing I got in vinyl was the 12-inch version of the single "Wish I Could Fly Like Superman." It has Low Budget on the second side, but obviously as a 12-inch, it's a much extended version of that song. So that, amazingly, is my only Kinks albums, or 3 albums and a single, 12-inch single, plus the singles I've already talked about. But that's certainly not the end of it, because as I grew older, as I developed in my work, and gradually moved up the salary scale, I moved into a position where I could afford to buy things, and that's what I'm going to talk about on the next The Kinks and I.